This video will show you a word that stops the law of attraction from working in its tracks. I'm going to share with you ways to reframe it so that you're actually able to get what you want in life. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that word or phrase that could completely be blocking you from having the kind of experiences that you want. Now it's kind of a funny idea, isn't it? That one word or one phrase can block us from getting what we want. Now the thing with this is that when it comes to the language that we use, that shapes the perception we have, and based on that perception or that belief, that is the reflection that we will get in our life. So the idea behind this is that when we change these little words that we use, we actually change the perceptual filters through which we see the world, and then that's how everything begins to change. Now I've made a couple videos before talking about some words that you don't want to use, and a lot of it has to do with words like I tried, words that just are really limiting in a way, because try implies struggle, right? This video is going to involve a phrase or the words I have to or I must. Many times we think that the way we see the world is static, that it's something that isn't moving. And because of that, what ends up happening is things end up becoming a reflection of that. So if we watch our language and we find ourselves, we're saying, I have to go do this, then what we end up doing is we create the solidity around it to where that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we may realize, and the power of this whole video really is to reframe I have to with I choose to. So we could look at this in the form of what do we believe to be true. We may say I believe this, I believe that, it's just part of who I am, it's a part of my past. Instead, rephrase every single thing that you believe to be true with I choose to believe. You see, the power in this is that when we say we choose something, we see that we also, on the other side of the spectrum, have the choice to choose the opposite of it. So what we could then do is we could just decide to take our power back and to put it in a new type of perspective. Now, this is something I became very much aware of because I used to, and I still go through it, of course, I'm reprogramming my subconscious mind. And that's also something, and one of the reasons I created a subconscious mind MP3 that completely transforms the way that we think about ourselves, our self-image, so that we get a completely new reflection in our life. That's something you could download below. What it'll do is you listen to it before you go to bed. It helps reshape how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And as you change the way you feel about yourself, the way you think about yourself, you then reframe and then see a new reflection in your life. So you can go and download that below. It's absolutely free. It's in the top of the description box. And that's for understanding the subconscious mind. Now understand the words we tell ourselves are constantly influencing our subconscious mind. So every time we say, I have to go do this, or I have to go do that, we create that as a self-fulfilling prophecy. That becomes something that is true because of our definitions. Now, something that I think is very powerful is learning what is called NLP, which is called neuro-linguistic programming. And that has to do with understanding the way that our brain works. It has to do with understanding the language that we use. Many times the beliefs that we have are ingrained in our language, in the things that we say. I remember one time I was at the gym and I had a buddy that I was working out with, and he works out really hard, and that's one of the reasons I like working out with him. And we were doing some type of rope pulls where we pull a rope and then on the other side of that is like a whole bunch of plates stacked up. And I remember one time we were doing it, what we call push pulls. What you do is you pull it all the way to the other side of the floor, and then you get down and you push it going the other direction. And I remember that one time one of the trainers there that weighs like 200 pounds got on top and sat on it. And immediately, right before I was getting ready to pull it, and I was like, oh, there's no way I'll be able to pull that. It's like I was trying to wait for him to get off. And my buddy was there, and he was like, go and pull it. I was like, I can't pull it. Look, he's sitting on it. And he was like, just pull it, dude. And I was like, I thought to myself, I was like, I just automatically assumed that I couldn't do it. So what I did is I started pulling. I started pulling, and it was probably one of the hardest things I ever did because it was like towards the second half I was pulling and he was moving like an inch, every time it was taking forever. And by the end of it I was really sore, and what that showed me is that I could push through that belief barrier. I could push through that language I was using of saying that I can't do that, and I was able to reframe it, and I was like, why can't I do it? Why can't I just choose to do it? So I did it, and I kind of proved that to myself. I went through it and broke through my own belief barriers. So be aware of the language you're using and reframe anything that says I have to, I must, to I choose to. And as you do that, you're going to start to see a big difference with what you can accomplish in your life. You're going to start to feel a big difference because you're going to start to break outside of the bubble that we create. Like, we all create a bubble around ourselves of the way the world is. We all have perceptual lens through which we see the world. And based on that perceptual lens, that's going to determine what we notice, what we pay attention to, what they call our RAS, the reticular activating system of our brain. And because of that, that's why we get what we get in our lives. So the moment we change the definitions, the way we think about it, is the moment we start to get our power back. Now, this means that you have the power to reframe who you are. You have the power to change your definitions, and I promise you that if you change your definitions, you will change your life. You will start to break outside of the bubble that you've created. I'm breaking outside of that bubble all the time. I'm always pushing myself to go just a little bit more, and because of that, I think that that's made a huge difference in my life. So remember, that's all you have to do. Reframe those words and you'll find that everything begins to change. So remember, that free MP3 for reprogramming the subconscious mind will be down below. All you got to do is click on that link, and then you'll be able to get that and be able to listen to it before you go to bed, listen to it in the beginning of your day, listen to it in the middle of your day, whenever you want. I'd say do it for at least 21 days to get the best results. And other than that, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that little notification gear so that you can see the daily videos that I do. And other than that, I'll see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, namaste.